Happy Sabbath. Okay. Oh, can you see the slides? Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're still awake. Sometimes after lunch, we are a little bit sleepy. Okay, the topic that was given to me is give up the fat, watch your belly get flat. Okay, this is something that we have to do, all of us have to do. Okay, this is the outline that I will discuss today. After introduction, then I will talk about, do we need fat actually? And where is the fat? Yeah, sometimes we cannot see the fat. And how much fat do we need actually? And then the cooking tips and take-home message. Okay, for the introduction, Denmark is a very, the first country to adopt the fat tax and sugar tax. This was introduced by WHO actually. So all production that has fat, they have to pay a certain amount of tax. But after it was done, the bill, and then the fat tax and the extension of the chocolate tax, which is the sugar tax, has been criticized from all people in Denmark. So they have to stop this fat tax and sugar tax. So what do we get from that? Governments, they care more about the economy because there are a lot of jobs at risk. Yeah. This is the journal of the Danish fat tax. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, the total sale of the included foodstuffs decreased 0.9%. So the revenue of the companies are less, yeah. But the heart disease, the ischemic heart disease, is still the same, 0.2% increase in population risk, and then estimate suggests that the risk of ischemic heart disease decreased by 0.3%. So actually, with the tax for fat, does not really work. Why? Because people are choosing different types of fat. When they know that the saturated fat is a little bit more expensive because they have to pay the tax, they will choose other types of fat, but still it's fat. Yeah, so there is insignificant effect because people are choosing different type of fat, yeah, and also different type of beef, different types of cream, because all of these contain saturated fat. Yeah. So when the governments and the companies does not care for our well-being and health, who should care about our own health? We ourselves. Yeah. This is what the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 6, verse 19 to 20. Do you not know that your bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at the price, therefore honor God with your bodies. So it's our duty to steward our body. We have to take care of ourselves. Governments will give guidelines and suggestions to us, but we have to read the Bible and read the writings of Ellen White. What should we eat? What food should we eat? Yeah. Okay. The first topic is, do we actually need fat? We have to see our cells. All of our cells, the cell membrane is always, it always consists of fat. Yeah, there is a phospholipid, yeah, there is a sphingolipid, there is also cholesterol, yeah, the green ones, yeah, all of the cell membrane. So this consists of all cells in our body, yeah, in our brain especially. There's a lot of fat in the brain, yeah, and all cells in our body contains fat. And when the structure of the membrane is not intact, when there's not enough fat, yeah, the cells will leak. There will be some leakage. Yeah, that's why to preserve our brain, to preserve all our cells, we need fat. Okay, fat is actually an organ. Fat is not something liquid and moving around our body. It's something firm, yeah, because it is an organ. The mesenchymal stem cells, when we are still in the womb of our mother, the first structure which is built is the blood vessels. So the cardiovascular system is the first that was built. Second is the nervous system, yeah? But third is fat cells. So the third process when egg meet sperm, the third is always fat. And the fat bubbles are always located along the blood vessels. So it's the storage actually to give energy to the cells to build more blood vessels. That is why God created fat. So fat is always an organ which is always there since before birth, yeah, since the egg and sperm was there. Okay, and adipose tissue, another name for fat tissue is adipose tissue, yeah, is a dynamic endocrine organ. What does that mean? Endocrine means it produces a lot of hormones. We will see what hormone is produced by the fat, yeah, by the adipose tissue, yeah. And there are three types of adipose tissue in our body. There is the white, beige, brown. The brown is always inside the body, inside our chest, yeah. So it's covering the frontal part of our chest. It's in our neck, yeah. Babies especially, they have a lot of fat on the neck area, and that is a brown fat. Yeah? And brown fat is the very important type of fat because it will create heat. Yeah? It creates combustion. Yeah? When we are in a cold environment, our body needs to preserve the body temperature. How to create the body temperature? These fat cells, the brown fat cells, are the ones who will create the energy to heat our body. Yeah? And the white adipose tissue, or WAT, yeah? The white adipose tissue is the ones who collect all the energy. So this is the storage, yeah, for storing lipid. Yeah? So different fat cells create a different purpose. Yeah? Between the fat cells, there are a lot of other cells surrounding them, especially the stem cells. Yeah, maybe you heard about stem cells. Stem cells are the cells that can create other organs. Yeah? We can inject stem cells when people have brain injury. Then we can inject to the spinal cord, and then there will be new brain cells, new spinal cells created by the stem cells. In my field, we usually take some fat from the belly or from the thigh, and then we just put on a centrifuge, so it spins, And then you can see here on the bottom of the bottle there are the stem cells, yeah, or sometimes also called SVF, stromal vascular fraction. These cells are the cells which are on the surroundings of the fat cell. So this is very important. That's why we need the fat. We need the fat with all these cells surrounding them, yeah. What is also important from fat is there are a lot of vitamins and nutrients which is fat soluble. If we eat vegetables, fruits, some of the vitamins that we eat should be absorbed into our body with fat. When there's no fat, the vitamins cannot be integrated in our body. So it's very simple in Bahasa Indonesia, ADEK, ADEK. So you will never forget that, yeah, ADEK. Vitamin A, yeah, this is always fat-soluble vitamin D. And when we are talking about sunshine, yeah, the vitamin is built on our skin. But when we ingest vitamin D from food, it should be fat-soluble, yeah. Also vitamin E, and vitamin K. Vitamin K is very famous now, yeah? Vitamin K is found in green leafy vegetables. And these green leafy vegetables also has a little bit of fat in them, but if we combine this with a little bit of other sources of fat, I will talk about that later, then the vitamin K will be absorbed, yeah? And in our gut, the bacteria in our gut will change the vitamin K into vitamin K2. Maybe you heard about vitamin K2, which is very important for bone health, for anti-aging as well. So this bacteria in our gut will change the molecules from the green leafy vegetables, from vitamin K to vitamin K2. Yeah, and I cannot read this one. Kecil sekali. Okay, and you can see also resveratrol. Resveratrol is one ingredient which is in grapes, and this is known for anti-aging. Yeah, this is also fat soluble. Yeah, it's also fat soluble. Carotenoids. Carotenoids are in the yellow, orange, red vegetables. Yeah. It's also fat soluble. It's vitamin A. Carotenoids are vitamin A. So we need the fat. And omega-3. Omega-3 is a fat. Yeah? So we need fat. And on our skin, between the layers of our outermost cells, our skin cells, in between there is lipid. Yeah? So we always say it's like bricks and mortar. Yeah? The bricks are the cells, and in between there's the mortar. Mortar is from lipid. Yeah, there is sphingolipid, sterols, and phospholipids. And these dead skin cells will be a protective barrier of our skin. So nothing harmful from the outside can pass through this layer of cells because it has lipid in it. Yeah, so this is very important for our protection. So you see that the lot of cells in our body, a lot of organs in our body needs the fat. So now there are different locations and types of fat. We already know about the brown fat, the white fat, and there is the beige. Beige is actually white adipose tissue, which will turn a little bit darker into brown tissue. So it's a hybrid condition. It will also create some energy, some heat, yeah, some combustion. Yeah. Our body, sometimes we say some people eat just a little portion and then they gain weight. And then they say, our metabolism is not working well. Our metabolism is so slow, is so low. Yeah. So what is metabolism actually, and how it is different in people? So there is a research from 20 countries and 90 researchers from all over the world. They have subjects from as young as 8 days old until 95 years old. So very broad range of age, and 6,000 participants. So this is a lot of people, and they measure all the metabolic rate. Yeah, now they have a system to tweak the molecule of water, H2O, and they drink this water, and then they can detect the water when we breathe. When we breathe and we inhale oxygen, oxygen is always used for the metabolism. Yeah, so we can measure the metabolism in each person. So what did I find? The energy expenditure increased with fat-free mass. Energy expenditure means the energy level by metabolism, yeah, is always heightened when there is a lot of fat-free mass. Fat-free mass, we will see it later, which part of our body is the fat-free mass. But this accelerates when a baby is born until they are 1 year old. You see the graphic there, the red line and the black line. The black line is the basal energy expenditure. So when we are resting, when we are not doing anything, that's the black line, yeah? But the red line, it's when we are active. So this is the total energy expenditure. So when we are active, it's about 50% more of energy that we are using. So that's already one take-home message. We have to move. We have to move, we have to do physical activity. If we have physical activity, we will have a higher metabolic rate. Yeah? And we see from the 0 until 1 year old, it's a very steep graphic there, because the metabolism of babies is very high, even higher than adults, 50% higher than adults. But after 1 year old, until 20, it declines very fast. So young people, they don't have a metabolism that increases, they actually decreases. Yeah? After 20 to 60, it's stable. So a young girl, and even in pregnancy, with a mother 50 years of age, they will have the same metabolic rate. The same metabolic rate. But after 60, it declines, but it declines just about 17%. And this changes is almost the same in all people in 6,000 participants in 20 countries. So whether they eat Indonesian food, they eat European food, Asian food, or whatever type of food they eat, they have the same metabolism actually. Yeah? This is very new. This is from 2 years ago. This is a very new discovery and will change a lot of textbook in the future. Yeah? So the research was talking about fat-free mass. What is the fat-free mass? Fat-free mass is all other organs which is not fat, like our muscles, bone, organs like heart, liver, yeah? These all are the fat-free mass. When the fat-free mass is more, larger muscles, larger bones, then you will have a higher metabolic rate. Yeah? But on the other side, when you have more of the fat mass, it causes your metabolism to go down. So we have to reduce the fat mass. Yeah? If we have a lot of fat mass, the fat mass will make your metabolism get slower. Yeah? So it's not the other way around. We sometimes think that people who have low metabolism have more fat, but actually the fat is causing the metabolic rate to go down. Yeah? So what decreases the metabolic rate? The fat. Yeah? So which fat is it? There are two types of location of the fat. There is the visceral adipose tissue, or VAT, and SAT, subcutaneous adipose tissue. Usually what we can see is only on the outside. What is on the outside? It's only subcutaneous, something beneath the skin, yeah, which we can grab. Yeah, we can grab the belly of someone, the love handle, yeah, which you can grab. Yeah, this is called the love handle. Yeah, because we we apa ya dipeluk. Okay, that's the fat which is outside of our body cavity. Yeah, this type of fat is very difficult to metabolize. We cannot get rid of this type of fat. But there is another type of fat, the VAT, the visceral adipose tissue, which is inside our abdomen, inside our belly. Yeah, it covers all our organs. Our heart is covered with fat, so it's a cushion for the heart. Our liver is covered with fat. Our kidneys are covered with fat. All of these are the inside. We cannot see. Yeah? But this is easier to get rid of with metabolism. So when you have a higher metabolism, this type of fat will disappear or get less, will not disappear completely. Yeah? So there is a machine, maybe you also once seen this type of equipment. You step on this like a weighing machine, and then there's a handle that you have to touch with both your hands. Yeah? There are different brands. Yeah? There are types that you have to put it on in front of you. There are the ones that you have to put it on the side of you. But this will measure how much fat you have, total fat, how much visceral fat you have, and how much muscle you have. Yeah? So this is very important to know how our metabolism works. Yeah? So I don't know if you have this type. Usually, me and in our church in Menteng, we have this equipment when we do a charity clinic. We measure people's basal metabolic rate with this visceral fat. Yeah. Okay, when the visceral fat is below 9, that's ideal. When it's 10 above, that's not good. That's the meaning that you have tendency for diseases such as heart disease, cardiovascular disease, strokes, diabetes, type 2 diabetes. When the visceral fat is a lot, then you are prone for these diseases. Yeah? For the subcutaneous adipose tissue, which is very resistant to metabolism, we can remove with liposuction. This is the easy one. Yeah? That's before and after my patient with my students. We are doing liposuctions. This is the easy one on the outside. Yeah? It's only on the love handle, on the belly. But the one inside is difficult. And there is also a term, TOFI, thin outside, fat inside. You don't see the fat because it's inside. Yeah? Some people looks lean, langsing, yeah, but they have a little bit of bump on their belly, and this is the fat on the inside. Yeah? If you see this picture here, the second one on the left, yeah, the person looks slim, but if you see there are white areas inside the abdomen, inside the belly, covering the kidneys. Yeah, that's the fat. Yeah, that's the fat. I don't have a pointer. So the third patient is an obese patient, and on the right side, the D, the far right, he's obese with a very high body mass index. Yeah, 36.9 kilogram per square centimeters. 36.4 kilograms, but he is metabolically thin because he has no internal fat, no visceral fat. So the fat is only on the outside of the body. Yeah. So there are 4 types of people like this. Yeah. The body fat is in the inside and on the outside. The body fat is more than just a passive tissue because it creates a lot of hormones. We will get to that. Yeah. So which one is the bad one? Which one is the villain? It's the visceral fat. So that is the type of fat you have to remove. The easy the easy way, if you have this machine, is very simple, yeah. But if not, you can measure the circumference of your waist, yeah. For female, it's less than 80. For men, it's less than 90. So if you have already above that, possibility is from the visceral fat, yeah. And this fat tissue, the adipose tissue, creates a lot of hormones. Yeah, there are two types of hormones here: leptin and ghrelin. Yeah, leptin is created by the fat cells. Yeah, it's produced by the fat cells. And what does it do? It says that you are full. Yeah, and mana dia? Nggak bisa baca. Cannot read. Okay, so the leptin will decrease appetite. You feel full when there is leptin, so you will stop eating because the fat cells say that I'm full. I already have enough to collect and to save the energy, and you don't need to eat anymore. Yeah, but our stomach has a stretch mechanism. So when there's food going into your stomach, the stomach will stretch. And when it's stretching, there is another hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin also will reduce the appetite. But when the stomach is flat, there is nothing inside the stomach, the ghrelin will be increased. And this is the sign. Ghrelin will be produced by the stomach and will go to the brain and say that I'm hungry. Yeah, so you will eat something. So this is always in harmony between ghrelin and leptin. Yeah, when we are hungry and when we are satiated. Yeah, satiety. But this is the interesting thing. People have sometimes too much leptin, and the body does not respond anymore to the leptin. So we still feel hungry. We eat and eat and eat, yeah, because we are resistant to the leptin, yeah. And there's also another hormone called adiponectin. Adipose, because it's adipose tissue. Adiponectin is increased, usually. These are hormones also to regulate insulin and glucose metabolism. Yeah, so people who have gangguan, yeah, in this metabolism usually have a different type of adiponectin and resistin. Yeah, resistin is to resist the adiponectin. The resistin is increased. When the resistin is increased, the body will not say, I'm full, I'm satiated. Yeah, and this will increase the metabolism of glucose. There is imbalance and you can get diabetes. Yeah. Okay, so what should we eat? Sometimes we say, okay, I will eat a low-calorie diet. I want to remove my belly fat, yeah, my visceral fat. Then we go on a diet, and then we count the calories. Yeah, actually, a lot of research now already developed that calorie counting is not correct. So we don't count calories anymore because there are different qualities. The type of food that you eat has different qualities and different volume with different calories. Yeah? Taking also in consideration the gut microbiome. When we eat something, the gut microbiome will change the food into another type of molecules. Yeah? And because of this, the organism, they tend to break down a specific type of food. So when they prefer usually the fiber. Yeah? So when there's a lot of fiber, our gut microbiome will produce a lot of short-chain fatty acid, and then we are healthier. Yeah? But the quality of the food should be the ones with fiber. Yeah, so not all food are the same. Not all calories are equal. Yeah, so you don't need to count the calories. If we see fat, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. 1 gram of carbohydrate is 4 calories. But how much is 1 gram of fiber? There's no measurement for that. Yeah? So if you put something in your stomach, a piece of chocolate maybe, which has 400 calories from oil, you're still hungry because your hormones, the ones you feel hungry, the ghrelin, will not be lowered because there's no stretching of the stomach. There's no stretching. You are not saying to your brain that I'm full. Yeah? So when you eat chicken, 400 calories, it's still not full. But when you eat a lot of vegetables, other source of plant-based food, then it's full, the stomach. You produce your ghrelin hormone from the stomach stretching, and that will say to your brain, I'm full, I'm satiated. Yeah? So you see, we cannot count calories. There's no need to count the calories. Yeah? Just eat the proper food, which is better for your body, for your microbiome, actually. We eat for our microbiome. Yeah? And we can do the analogy to the car. Yeah? When the car is empty on the gasoline, then we will go to the gas station. Yeah? And you will choose the right gasoline for your car. If your car is diesel, of course, you will need solar. Yeah? If your car uses Pertalite or Pertamax, it's a different type of food for the car. It's a food also for us. Yeah? You can see the difference. Yeah? And we fill it until it's full. But when you don't have the clicker, then the gasoline will overflow. What happens when it's overflowing? Tumpah semua ya. It will go out from the tank, and then you will stand in a gasoline pond, and then what will happen? It's very dangerous. Yeah, you can ignite fire. Yeah, can be inflamed. Yeah, so that's also what happens to our body. If you put something not correct in your body, in abundance, what will happen with your body? There will be inflammation. So if you eat too much, and you will have too much fat, fat cells are the storage of all our energy. You have too much fat cells, it will create inflammation. That's why we now know the term inflammaging. So the aging is because of the inflammation. Yeah? So what type of fat should we eat? There is also fat in the food that we eat. Yeah? There are two types of fat, saturated and unsaturated. The saturated, there are also three types, the long chain, the medium chain, and the short chain. The short chain fatty acid is always produced by the bacteria in our gut. There's nothing in the food which has the short chain fatty acid, always the long chain and the medium chain. And the long chain are the ones from animal. All animal-based food, even if you say it's a lean meat, yeah, the best type of beef maybe, but it's still saturated. And from the unsaturated, there are monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. Yeah, the best ones are the omega, yeah, the omega-3. Yeah, you can get it from fish oil, of course, but fish are not the origin source. The origin source of the omega-3 in fish is actually from microalgae. Fish, usually large fish, eats smaller fish. The smaller fish eats the krill, the very small organism like shrimps, even smaller than shrimps, and these eat the microalgae. So the source of omega-3 is actually the microalgae. Yeah, so don't be fooled by companies who are selling fish oil. Just buy the ones from the microalgae, not from the fish. Yeah, and also the polyunsaturated fat will be found in flaxseed oil. Yeah, because flaxseed contains a lot of omega-3s. Yeah, so the fat content, if we compare between animal products, butter, unsalted cheese, pork, beef, cream, etc., you see the total saturated fat is very high. But when you see the veggies, the vegetables, it also contains some fat, but it's a very low fat, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. For cauliflower is a little bit higher, 0.3, but nothing above 1 or 2 grams. So it's a very low calorie and low fat. Yeah? But we said that we need fat. So where is the fat coming from our food? Yeah? So we have to remember these 3 categories of fat: the good, the bad, and the ugly. The ugly, of course, you should not consume. The hydrogenated oils and trans fat. I will get into trans fat a little bit more. Trans fat is the ones that will cause blockage in your arteries, can cause heart disease, strokes. Yeah? So you have to remove trans fat completely from your food. And hydrogenated oils. Hydrogenated oils are the oils that we see always on the table, usually margarine. Yeah? Margarine is a partially hydrogenated oil. And then the bad one are the saturated fats, the animal food and dairy. Yeah, dairy is always in the saturated fat component. Yeah, so there is a new message from WHO: replace. Replace. Why? They want to remove all trans fat. Last 2 years, WHO gave the minimum of consuming trans fat is less than 1%. Now they are aiming for 0% trans fat. Yeah? In several countries, the trans fat is already banned, but in Indonesia, I'm not so sure. And when it will be in place, I don't know. Yeah? So the trans fat, also known as partially hydrogenated oil, found in margarine and many processed foods, but has been banned by the FDA in 2018. The first countries is EU, yeah, European countries, and UK, they already banned trans fat, and now US already started. Yeah. Okay, this is omega-3 and omega-6. Both we need, but we do not need a lot of omega-6, because omega-6, when it's too much, it's inflammatory. It's causing inflammation in our body. But omega-3 is the ones which is anti-inflammatory. Yeah, so we need the omega-3. And the source of omega-3 is linolenic acid. This is found in flaxseed. Yeah, that's why flaxseed will be one type of omega-3. We do not need to eat it from fish. Yeah? This is 7 reasons to keep food high in saturated fat off your plate. This is from Physicians Committee. Yeah? The first one is inflammation and oxidative stress and arterial stiffness. After you consume saturated fat, so animal products, dairy, cheese, everything, in 6 hours, your body will be clogged with this inflammation, and this fat will go around your blood vessels for 6 hours. Yeah? That's why when we go to the laboratory, they say that we have to fast minimum 8 hours before we take our blood. Why? Because they want to see the basal condition, not after the breakfast you ate. Yeah? That's why. Yeah, in 6 hours. So 6 hours will be a very long time when you eat something very rich in fat, yeah, in saturated fat. You can have heart attack during those 6 hours. Yeah. And then secondly is, according to study published in Diabetes Care, saturated fat increases the risk of non-alcoholic liver disease and diabetes. So you will have liver problems and diabetes. Women who consume red meat and processed meat, also high in saturated fat, increase the risk of developing breast cancer. Yeah? And the early mortality and recurrence of cancer is also higher when you consume saturated fat. And saturated fat and trans fat also found in animal products, increases abdominal obesity, the one that we are saying just now, the visceral fat. Yeah? And there's also cognitive decline, dementia, and Alzheimer's disease connected with the saturated fat, because it will clog the blood vessels to your brain. So you will have you are more prone for Alzheimer's disease. And numerous reports show that consuming foods high in saturated fat significantly increase type 2 diabetes risk. And vegetarian or vegan live up to 10 years longer because they do not consume saturated fat. So it's very simple, it's very easy. You can choose the right food for the machinery that God created for you. Yeah? So the highest fat consuming countries are these countries: Belgium, Germany, Finland, Netherlands, because they eat a lot of cheeses, a lot of cheese. But look here, Malaysia is number 8, our neighbor. Indonesia was not mentioned here. Where is Indonesia? I do not know. But I got another source. Yeah? Fat actually should be very small amount. This is the top of the pyramid, should be the fat. Yeah? Now look at this chart. Indonesia is one of the highest countries who consume saturated fat. Where is it? It's not only in the beef, in the chicken, it's in the gorengan. It's in the gorengan. We have breakfast gorengan, and then we have tofu or tempe also. Goreng, yeah, everything is goreng. And this is a video by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. He's a surgeon who's doing surgery for heart bypass surgery for clogging of the arteries of the heart. And then he sees that his patients are not getting better. After the surgery, they go back again. They have another blockage again of the blood vessel. So what is going on? So he's studying more, and then he said, okay, they have to change their diet. They have to change the way they're living. They have to exercise and change their diet into whole food, plant-based diet with no oil. Yeah, I'm not sure this can play. Okay, you can look at it later at home. So his patients in his research are not consuming any fat, any oil at all, because they are already prone for heart disease. They have family history. They are already having blockage of the blood vessels, yeah, and high cholesterol. So all people who have this history should not consume oil at all. So no goreng-goreng, no goreng. And after the trial of Dr. Esselstyn, we can see here a patient which is already blocked about 95% probably here, if you see the LAD. And after consuming whole food plant-based, the arteries are free of the blockage. Yeah? You see that just with changing the diet, we can increase the health of people. Yeah? Now, the American Heart Association recommended 5 to 6% of calories come from saturated fat. Incredible. Which we know already that it is the cause of heart disease. And that's about 13 grams of saturated fat per day. But if you see the table before, they consume more than that, a lot more than that. UK even said that men should eat 30 grams of saturated fat and female 20 grams of saturated fat. Remember the first slide I gave you from Denmark? Governments, they just care about economy. They don't care about yourself. They don't care about your well-being. Yeah? What also is important from fat? Frying food. Goreng again, yeah? We use always oil for frying food. The oil can be rancid. What can cause rancidity? Yeah, rancidity is the process which fats and oils in food become degraded, resulting into of odor or flavor, so the smell is a little bit different. The taste and the texture, sometimes it's more liquid, yeah, more like water, yeah, more watery. When it's new, it's more viscosity, yeah, more viscous, the oil, yeah. This process is caused by oxidation. Oxidation is always the bad guy, yeah, because unsaturated fat becomes unsaturated fatty acid, yeah, and this can cause inflammation in our body, yeah, and just exposure to light, heat, and air can already cause rancidity. So sometimes people use fat and then they put it on the jar, it's open, it has contact with air, it's already rancid. Yeah, sometimes baunya sudah nggak enak ya, the smell and the taste is different. So this is a research looking for rancidity of oil. Yeah, during the frying process, different byproducts are produced, such as alcohols, cyclic compounds, polymers, dimers, and free fatty acids. And these have adverse impact on human health, especially cardiovascular diseases, cancer, allergy, and obesity. All of this minyak, the oil, when we use it for frying, this can cause public health hazard. Yeah? This is a study in Tehran. In Tehran, they look for fast food restaurants, and then they look at the oil, which they discard. All the discarded oil, they check for peroxide value, free fatty acid content, p-anisidine value, total oxidation value, polar compounds. These are all the markers of the fat is rancid. Yeah, when the fat is rancid, then there is a possibility of heart disease, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and obesity. And all shows that it is high. Yeah? So the trans fat, there are two types of molecule of fat, cis and trans. Yeah? The trans fat is when the two hydrogen atoms near the double bonds are opposite direction. So this is the trans. Yeah? And this is cis, the normal ones. Yeah? So trans fat also, if we see here, there are different type of food which contains trans fat. Trans fat is always keras ya, lebih it's more not liquid, yeah, and it is used to preserve the food because trans fat will not become rancid. It's still in the same form for a longer time. That's why cookie companies, if you eat cookies, yeah, the cookies usually is made with trans fat because it stays longer on the shelf when they sell it. Yeah, but be careful because all this trans fat can cause cardiovascular disease. Yeah, and remember also mothers who are pregnant, when you consume a lot of fat, the fat metabolism of your offspring will also be altered. Yeah, so mother who consume a lot of fat, they have impaired metabolic profile for their babies. Yeah, the FAT, the SAT, and the BAT are all altered. So be careful, don't eat fat when you're pregnant. Yeah, how about nuts and seeds? This we know that this contain essential fatty acids. So essential means you need this type of fat. But it is in the form of how it is in nature. Yeah? So it is not refined. When the oil is already refined, it contains a lot of stuff which is not healthy. But when it's like it is in nature, like nuts, it is okay. But how much do you eat? Just 1 handful per day. Yeah, 1 handful per day. But if you have a history in your family of heart disease, don't consume these nuts and seeds. Yeah, remember Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. Always when you have a history, don't consume this. Yeah, and again from our skin, we need the fat for our skin health. Yeah, This is a trial for 12 weeks, given an irritant to the skin, and then was given either flaxseed oil or safflower seed oil, half a teaspoon, and then they observe after 12 weeks what happens. The ratio of the flaxseed oil is very good because an increase of omega-3. Result of the trial was consuming flaxseed oil can significantly decrease the skin sensitivity. You can see the skin was very dry in the beginning, but then after 12 weeks becomes more supple. This is the one with flaxseed oil, and this one with safflower seed oil. The flaxseed oil is the best. So if you want to consume some flaxseed oil, it's okay, but remember, when you have a tendency in your family for cardiovascular disease, don't consume fat. So the skin needs fat. And this is the nut profile. The ones with the high saturated fat is Brazil nuts and peanuts. So be careful with peanuts. Peanuts is actually a legume. It is not a nut. But it's inside the ground, not on top of the ground. So it is a legume actually. But it contains a lot of saturated fat. So it's better to remove that also from your diet. So cooking tips, a little bit of cooking tips. I'm almost done. Usually we do sauteing and stir fry. Sauteing, stir fry. You can do it without fat. Usually we use some fat for frying the onions. We do not need that. You can use water or broth. You can make vegetable broth, just 1 or 2 tablespoons at a time. Just put a little bit by a little bit, and it will be the same as stir frying with oil. Baking, you can use fruit puree. So to change the fat, usually we use oil, olive oil, or whatever vegetable oil we use. We can change to applesauce or mashed banana. This is a type of cooking that we have to learn. And then roasting, it's very simple. Just put in the oven. Deep frying alternative, you can bake the potatoes, not deep fry. So roasting is very simple. Maybe you know already. Just put a little bit of water or broth or lemon on top and then put in the oven. And it's ready. And don't forget, we need physical activity. You remember the graph before? I think that was the second slide. When you are exercising, having physical activity, your metabolism goes up about 50%. So you need physical activity. WHO suggests that we need 150 minutes per week for adults, and kids need 60 minutes per day. So kids should run around. So the lockdown several years ago made all our kids, our grandchildren fat. They need to move around 60 minutes per day. So physical activity is very important. And this is a new research from Mayo Clinic, shows that lack of sufficient sleep leads also to 9% increase in total abdominal fat and 11% increase of visceral fat. So when you don't sleep well or sleep at the right time, you will have more visceral fat. So not only food, but also exercise and sleep is important. So from the writing of Ellen G. White, Counsels on Diet and Food, in grains, fruits, vegetables, and nuts are to be found all the food elements that we need. If we will come to the Lord in simplicity of mind, He will teach us how to prepare wholesome food free from the taint of flesh meat, because this is containing the saturated fat. I saw that many were sickly among the remnant who have made themselves so by indulging their appetite. We see in the television, everywhere, are talking about master chef, chef here, chef there, new recipe here, new recipe there. We are indulging our appetites. So we need to change our preference for food. If we wish good health, we must take special care of the health that God has given us, deny the unhealthy appetite, eat less fine food, eat coarse food free from grease. Grease meaning fat, yeah, the animal fat. Yeah? So we need to eat coarse food. What is coarse food? This is the whole food, plant-based food, a wholesome food. So how it is growing from the ground, that's the way you have to eat it. Not the banana that comes from the ground and then you goreng. That's not the healthy food. Eat the banana as it is. Yeah? God will be pleased to graciously bless it, and it will be benefit to the receiver. I saw that we should pray as Solomon did. Feed me with food convenient for me. So the best food that God preferred for humans to eat, that is the best food for me. Get food that is plain and that is essential to health, free from grease. Such food will be convenient for us. So the take-home message, we need fat, of course, and it creates our healthy metabolism, but reduce the visceral fat to the minimum. So exercise and eat healthy. Consume mostly PUFA, the polyunsaturated fatty acid, and the monounsaturated fatty acids from whole food, plant-based, not the ones that are refined. Reduce saturated fat to minimum, if possible, non-saturated fat at all, and avoid trans fat completely, yeah, and rancid fat, so no goreng-goreng, and no oil if you have a family history of heart cardiovascular disease, and learn to cook without oil. So there is a big message for all of us, how to cook without oil. Thank you, and God bless you.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. Now we have question